let's take a look at this one. So again, domain is X, range is Y. So when I'm looking at domain, I'm looking left and right. So as I look at this absolute value, it goes left forever. If I look to the right, it goes right forever. So the left is going towards negative infinity and the right is going to positive infinity. So a common mistake that students make is they think that the domain has something to do with the x-intercepts. It has nothing to do with that. I'm looking for the extreme. So I'm looking as far left as it goes and as far right. And both of these ends are going to negative infinity and positive infinity. So again, for my inequality, I'm going to put all real numbers. There's also a sign that I can use for this that you might have seen. I can use this capital R with an extra line through it. And then I kind of make the R look fancy by, curling it out there at the end. So this sign can be used in place of writing out all real numbers. You can find it in insert special characters on Google Slides. And you can just look for an R that looks fancy. And you can use that if you wish, as long as you understand that that means all real numbers. Okay, let's move on to the interval notation. So since it's all real numbers, it's going to be the same as last time. Starting with the smallest, it goes negative infinity, comma, to the largest, which is positive infinity. I must use parentheses, not brackets, because you cannot include negative nor positive infinity. Alright, for our set notation, I'm going to put a curly brace to make it fancy, x, and then this line, and by the way, when we read this line, we read it as such that. X, such that, and then what I'm going to do, instead of writing out the word all real numbers, I want to use my symbol. But what I'm also going to do is put x belongs to the real numbers. So that, I didn't do a great job of drawing it, but it kind of looks like a C with a line through it, or kind of looks like an E, and we read that as belongs to. Let me end with my curly brace. So this says x such that x belongs to the real numbers. It's just a fancy way of saying that the domain is all real numbers. I just want to write it like this so that if y'all see it on a multiple choice answer, you know that this whole jibber jabber really just means the domain is all real numbers. I'm just looking at that last part. Alright, let's move on to range. So range is y. I look up and down for y values. I'm going to start with the lowest. So it doesn't matter if I'm looking to the left or to the right. That makes no difference. I just want to find the lowest point. So that would be over here, or somewhere around negative 9 point something. But my graph doesn't stop there. It keeps going down all the way to negative infinity. So the lowest value is negative infinity. The highest it goes is right here. We have a little mountain peak. Okay. So again, there are two coordinates here, an x and a y. I only care about the y coordinate to this. So let me make a connection to the y-axis. It's right here, so that would be a positive 2. So positive 2 is the highest value of our graph. Negative infinity is the lowest. So for my inequality, I'm going to say y is less than or equal to positive 2, because all of the graph, all of that absolute value graph is below 2, except for that one point where it's actually equal to 2. So for my interval notation, I'm going to start with the smallest. The smallest was negative infinity, so I must use parentheses. And then at the end I put the highest, which is positive 2. And I use a square bracket around 2 because there is one point where it is in fact equal to 2. That's what the square bracket means, that it's equal to it. Let's make it fancy. Curly brace. Y such that y is less than or equal to 2, end curly brace. If you're not sure where to find your such that line, it's the one that's above the enter or return key.